Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. This is an entry into my Chronicles on this cold but sunny Tuesday morning. I hope that y'all had a great weekend. So today's vlog is by request. There's a young lady who sent me an inbox on my Simply Felisa page on Facebook. Y'all check it out. Probably back in January, and I've been having some off and on conversation with her, just trying to encourage her. I think that she either watched the silent treatment vlog that I uploaded or the breakup vlog. I can't remember which one, but you know, I was really just trying to encourage her because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to go through a breakup. Obviously, this is how this channel got started. And just, you know, basically telling her that it's gonna be all right. So I was thinking about her the other day, and I inboxed her, and unfortunately she's still struggling, and I want to give her a little bit of encouragement and a shout out to her and tell her that, like I told you, everything's gonna be all right. Just trust the process. But she asked, she had a question on narcissists and narcissism, and she asked if I would do this vlog on covert narcissism, and I told her I absolutely would do that for her. Now, of course, I have a disclaimer. You know, these are my ideas, my thoughts, my rants, my observations. You know, they are not necessarily intended to be a medical diagnosis or a mental health diagnosis, and yeah, so there's that. But I am familiar enough with narcissism, and what that does to you. So here we go. The covert narcissist, first of all, narcissism and narcissist, you know, those are terms that are being thrown around so much lately, and so I think that it has really just diluted the just the meaning and the definition. You know, every little act of arrogance, every little act of, you know, egotistical display is deemed narcissism, or deemed, you know, someone is being a narc. And I don't think that that's necessarily true, and I don't think that it's helpful for people who have really and truly come in contact with a narcissist, someone who has really and truly had to live with a narcissist. When I tell you that most people who have encountered a narcissist, a true narcissist, those people suffer from some type of post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm not kidding. I'm not even joking. The emotional trauma that is inflicted on you when you have to deal with a narcissist, whether you were raised by one of your parents were narcissists, whether you were married to someone, whether you were in a relationship with one, I'm telling you, it is impossible. It is impossible to walk away from those relationships. If there was nothing wrong with you going into that relationship, there's something wrong with you now. Trust and believe that, and you probably will carry some of that emotional baggage for the rest of your life. It shapes your interaction with people. And, you know, while I talked about unpacking the emotional baggage, and I definitely am all for that, there are just certain triggers and things that you just need to be aware of. It probably won't ever go away, because it changed your psyche. It changed your perception. It changed the core of who you are when you came in contact with that individual. And so, unfortunately, there is, you know, the pre and the post, and the post will never go back to being like the pre. Meaning, there's before the narc, and then there's after the narc. And the after the narc person can never go back and not be affected by that narcissist. So I want to make sure that I'm putting that out there. Covert narcissism doesn't imply what it doesn't mean what it implies. So it's not that, you know, these people are undercover and, you know, moving under a stealth kind of you know, cloud, you know, that you don't see them coming. Covert narcissists are just as dangerous, just as manipulative, and just as ruthless in their emotional destruction as any other narcissist, a malignant narcissist. It doesn't mean that they have stealth ninja-like traits. Really what it implies is that, you know, they employ different strategies and different tools in order to manipulate you. They're no less abusive and no less dangerous than anybody else that you would come in contact with that presents with traits of narcissism. What you'll find, though, is that the covert narcissist tends to be more passive aggressive. So, you know, they may not directly address things that happen in the relationship or things that displease them, but they'll wait until another situation presents itself, and then they'll kind of lower the boom on you. That passive aggressive kind of thing where you just don't know where it's coming. Like, you know it's coming, but you just don't know how and don't know when, you know. So for instance, y'all know what passive aggressive is, but let me give you an example just so that we're clear. Passive aggressiveness is kind of so I cook a meal for my significant other. He wasn't sufficiently gracious, or you know, he didn't display a sufficient amount of gratitude. He didn't thank me. A matter of fact, he had the sheer unmitigated gall to say that it was either too salty or that the meat was tough or whatever. Now, I spent a lot of time in the kitchen on this meal, and this ninja just decided that he just don't, you know, he don't like it. Not only does he not like it, he just feels like he's gonna complain about it. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna wait, you know, a few days, and I just stopped cooking. And so I'm waiting on him to ask me. So when he asks me, I might say something like, well, you know, I don't want to disappoint you with my cooking since it's so terrible, you know, since you don't seem to enjoy my cooking. I just felt like you could cook for yourself. Have at it. So that's kind of an example of passive aggressiveness. So I'm punishing him for not being grateful. I'm punishing him for not responding the way that I think that he should have responded, and so I'm taking it out. You know, withholding sex is another form of passive aggressiveness. You know, so you know you're punishing them. The silent treatment is a form of passive aggressiveness. So you know, people would rather stop talking to you and cut off all communication with you than to actually address the issue, even if it's to say, listen, I don't appreciate what you're talking about or whatever, but they would just rather stop talking to you. That's passive aggressive, and it is, you know, it definitely is a tool that's used by covert narcissists. The covert narcissist enjoys punishing you. Like, they really get a kick out of it. One of the things that they also might do is make promises to you, you know, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. They get you all excited about it, and then all of a sudden that's not what they want to do, or they just don't deliver, and they actually get almost a sadistic pleasure out of that disappointment and watching your reaction when it doesn't happen. That's something that they have in their arsenal, and then they're very unaffected because they lack empathy. They're very unaffected by how you feel about it, and the fact that, you know, you just kind of have put your hopes and dreams into whatever it is that they have promised, and then all of a sudden they're not going to do that for you, and they offer you no explanation. And of course, if you press too much, then they'll go into silent mode and punish you even further. Covert narcissists also are very skilled at gaslighting, and that's one of the things that narcissists overall will do. So, you know, I think I touched a little bit about gaslighting too. I don't think I've done like a specific vlog on it. So if you're unfamiliar, gaslighting is, first of all, it's disgusting that people do this. So gaslighting is basically, you know, someone will tell you that what you see is not really what you see. What you heard is not really what you heard. That what you thought is not really what's happening. It's a slow, sadistic way of making you believe that you are actually crazy, that nothing that you thought was true is actually true. And you know, just a little bit of history. The term gaslighting comes from I can't remember if it was a play first or if it was a book. At any rate, the story goes kind of like this. Please forgive me because I'm paraphrasing. This came out like in the early, like 1900s, I want to say. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna put it down in the description. But anyway, it came out a long time ago. So basically, this woman was, you know, kind of like I don't want to call her a spinster, but you know, back in the day, if you weren't married by, you know, age 12, you basically were an old maid and, you know, thought to be damaged goods. Anyway, so this young lady lived with her mother, lived with her parents, and her parents died. She had gone abroad. She met this guy, and at the time, I think she was living with her aunt. She had gone abroad. She met this guy. He somehow found out that she was loaded, and, you know, figured out a way to get her to marry him, which probably wasn't very hard given the fact that, you know, she had been sheltered, and, you know, she didn't know. He was just like, you know, Casanova came in and swept her off her feet. Anyway, so they come home from the honeymoon, and they go back to live in the house that her parents left her. Now, back in the day, the lamps were gas. And so in order to turn up the brightness, you know, you would have to feed more gas in order to turn down the brightness, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And so he started to tamper with the gas lamps. And so, you know, but he would tell her that he would lower them. He would come in the house when she wasn't aware, lower the lamps, and make her think that somebody else was in the house. And he, you know, kept telling her, you know, no, honey, this it's not low, it's really bright or whatever. And so she started to, over a period of time. Now, of course, the story is much longer than this. I'm kind of trying to condense it for the sake of this vlog. But he really started to get her to believe over the period of time that she was losing her mind, that what she was seeing wasn't really what she was seeing, and, you know, what she was experiencing wasn't accurate. She literally thought she was going crazy because this guy was tampering with the gas lamps. Hence the name gaslighting. It's a form of mental abuse. Make no mistake about it. It is a form of mental abuse. It is a form of mental torture. It is a form of oh my God, it's unless you've experienced it, you cannot know what it actually feels like to have someone that you love and trust tell you that you're crazy or make you feel that you're crazy. So, you know, that's it in a nutshell. I know that there's a lot that's packed into this. I didn't want to make this vlog super long. And I'll drop some links below if I can find some really good ones that kind of talk about narcissism, the different types of narcissism, you know, if you've encountered a narc. But I do want to leave you guys with this tip, and especially for my sweetie pie that's watching, hopefully. Please, 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 whatever you do, if you have extracted yourself from this relationship, even if they broke it off and broke your heart and you still don't understand why, and you still haven't gotten that closure that you need, understand a couple of things. Number one, when somebody walks away from you and they refuse to speak to you, that's closure. It's not the closure that you want, and I still struggle with that. So let me be clear, because you just want to know, like, what the heck happened. But if somebody walked away from you, if somebody, you know, refuses to talk to you, if someone is, you know, so hell-bent on ignoring, you know, you've reached out, you've tried to make amends, you've tried to, you know, have some conversation, and they just, for whatever reason, have decided that they don't want to do that, first of all, you have to respect that. Second of all, understand that that's closure. When somebody closes a door in your face, when they slam it shut, that's about all the closure that you're probably going to get out of that situation, and you just need to walk away. You need to take that L and start to heal, and understand that that person is not available for you. It might be helpful if you think that that person died, because you can't talk to dead people. I'm so serious when I say that. If that's a psychological trick that you have to employ in order to get yourself through this situation, then do that so that you can begin the road to health. Second of all, stay off those people's social medias. I think I said that in another, I don't do that. I don't go to people's pages. I don't look and see what they're up to. I don't entertain that kind of thing, because it's not helpful. It would never feel good to me to go on to my ex's page and see that he's booed up with someone, particularly if, you know, we just broke up and I'm still in love with him. That would hurt my feelings so badly, and it would hurt my feelings even more because he never put me on social media. So I'd be like, oh my God, so this is the one that you put on social media. That would just like be the end all all be all for me. So I don't do that. Like, I can't care about that. I can't care what he posts. I can't care, you know, what he's doing. So, you know, I just pretend like it doesn't exist. I've never followed him to begin with for that reason. So, you know, if you are following your ex, if you are checking in on them and seeing if they're online and seeing if they're active and seeing if they're, you know, if they've checked in or whatever they're doing, or, you know, they out here living life, honey. They're not thinking about you. That's the sad culture of they're not thinking about you. And you know how you know that they're not thinking about you? Because they're not calling and they're not texting and they're not trying to check in with you. If they were thinking about you, they would do those things. Point blank, period. You make time for what you believe in and what you want. And if they're not making time for you, if they're not, you know, checking in with you, if they're not, you know, trying to make amends with you and put the relationship together after it's been broken, then they do not want you. And that is something that you're going to have to say to yourself, not in a way that would damage your self-esteem and your psyche, but just say, you know what, this one person does not want me. Honey, it's a billion people on the earth. Go find someone that actually will return your love and return, you know, your investment, period. Because you're worth more than that. I am Felisa. I hope that you guys enjoy your Tuesday, and I will talk to y'all later on. Bye.